So I just want to talk about the Eagles game last night real quick. Just give y'all an instant reaction, quick recap. First thing I just really want to start off talking about is like the quarterback play around the leagues. Like around the league, you've been noticing like a lot of quarterbacks haven't been getting to like they've been struggling to get to 200 yards. I've barely been any quarterbacks get to 300 yards. So like quarterback play around the league has been it's just been down overall since the start of the season. So and last night just really made me think about that because, as you may know, Kirk Cousins was able to just like walk the Eagles down and like it was like 3 real minutes, but in game time, I think he did that shit in like 45 seconds. Walk the Eagles down. The Eagles are a good team. I don't think I don't think the Falcons do that if Penix is starting. So like I just want to start off by talking about the quarterback play around the league. And I get it. Everybody wants to like every franchise, every GM wants to like speed up, not even speed up the clock. They want to get everybody wants to like have this Mahomes and Andy Reid situation where you draft a QB, you get him on his rookie deal, you get some talent around him and you win a Super Bowl. That don't really happen. Like when you think about all of the Super Bowl winners, like outside of Mahomes these past couple of years, Super Bowl winners have been veteran quarterbacks. Like I think back to Matthew Stafford in 2021. I think back to obviously Tom Brady in Tampa and all his, his last few years in New England. I think about the Mannings. I think about even Joe Flacco. I think about even Nick Foles when he won his Super Bowl. He was a veteran at that point you know. And I really think Mahomes is just like an outlier. But even then, I feel like we get lost in the weeds, thinking you draft a quarterback, put weapons around him, and you win. The Chiefs were 11-5 before Mahomes showed up. Andy Reid was a top 5, top 10 head coach before Mahomes showed up. Tyreek Hill was probably like a top 10 receiver before Mahomes showed up. Maybe top 15. Travis Kelce was a top 10 tight end before Mahomes showed up. So they had the team and the weapons already, and then they drafted Mahomes. And it just so happened, I think Mahomes and the Chiefs, I think it was just like the perfect storm. He was able to sit behind Alex Smith for a year, then he was able to come in and play. The team was already good. They already had a winning culture. All he had to do, excuse me, was execute and get coached up. And he did that. Kudos to him. But I don't think that's how it's supposed to work around the league for everybody else. So I say all that to say, there's still something to be said for the veteran quarterback, like Kirk Cousins. Like I know I had a prediction before the season started. I said I got the Saints winning that division. They laughed at me. Niggas laughed at me. Everybody wants to talk about, people wanted to pick the Falcons, rightfully so, veteran quarterback. But the only reason why I really hung my hat on picking the Saints to win that division is because, like, veterans, man, like, veterans matter in professional sports. Veterans matter. Like, having people who's been here before, having people who've seen that before, having people who's, like, been through it. There's something to be said about that. Now, the Falcons could very well still win the division, and that's not a bad pick. But I picked the Saints because Derek Carr is a veteran quarterback. He's seen a lot in this league. Alvin Kamara, veteran running back. They got weapons all over. Veterans on defense. Like, it's something to be said about being a veteran. I know the league wants to push all the old guys out, bring all the young talent in, and we on a, the shiny new toy thing. But I don't think that's how you win in this league. I don't think that's how you ever were able to win this league. Now, on to the Eagles. I think last night was a culmination of a few things. Um, Things that I think some fellow Eagles fans I know, like my dog Ronnie Riggles, choose to ignore. Not even ignore, but they try to like gloss over it. Like play calling, man. Defensive personnel. is Jalen Hurts. Like, he's good. I like Jalen Hurts, but how good is he? Like, I feel like we just chalked that. I feel like we just chalked that Super Bowl appearance year up to being like. I feel like that 2022 year they went to the Super Bowl. I feel like we just chalked that up as like that's who he is. It's football, man. This shit ain't linear. Like, it's something to be said about consistency, showing up and doing it multiple years. Like, so I don't know, man. Like, how good is he? So, like I said, it's a culmination of things. Play calling, defensive personnel. That back end is basura. That shit is Swiss cheese. Darius Slay. You're a good dude. It might be time. Drake London, he just simple. And he's just wide open in the flat for a touchdown. Like, why? How does that happen? Saquon, you got to catch the ball. More importantly, run the clock out. What are we doing? What are we doing giving the Falcons a chance? It's like, and this is what I be talking about. Like, I was telling Ronnie earlier, this is what I be talking about. Got to take teams seriously, and I think that's what I really think the Saints will benefit from this year. Sneaking up on teams, not taking them serious. That drive that the Falcons went on in the game with the Eagles and the prevent defense, that's underestimating your opponent, not respecting them. To me, I think. Why are you in a prevent defense? You should be in like cover 2 or something. Like, why are you just giving up chunk plays? How do you give up 3 chunk plays? 2 to Darnell fucking Mooney. How does that happen? And then on the final play, Drake London just walks it in. Like, this shit is crazy, man. So like I said, culmination of a few things for the Eagles. Play calling, it's just predictable, just very bland, very defensive personnel. Outside of Q Mitchell, even N'Kobe Dean, he didn't even get that many snaps last night. So like defensive personnel is just trash. And then some play call and defensive personnel. Oh, and then the third thing. This is like some arrogance with this team, as if like they're supposed to win every game. Like, this is what they do. We got Super Bowls that back it up. I don't know where this arrogance from the Eagles came from. The Eagles should be playing with a chip on their shoulder every fucking weekend. Like, because ever since that Super Bowl loss, the Eagles haven't really been like, they haven't been like just blowing me away as far as like what I'm seeing. So like, where's this arrogance coming from? I think that's a culture thing, and I think that comes from Sirianni. Like, why the Eagles should not be this arrogant. So yeah, that's just what it is. Let me just wrap things up by saying Sirianni will be on the hot seat this year. I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles a lot this year, but I just don't know how good they'll be. Yeah, shout out to primetime Kirk Cousins, because we all know he's stinking primetime, but he got it done. Got it done last night.